Dreams and Toast is the Darkness's 8th album. We're very excited to review that today. I know that Justin Hawkins watches Indie Miners. Firstly, do you have anything to say to him?
First of all, thank you, Justin, for watching. We are massive fans of yours and your show. And I just want to say off the bat, thank you for making this album. It's pretty out there. It's pretty funny. Mate, these guys have been around for 20 odd years. What's the background leading up to this album?
Yeah, so I mean, we've all listened to Permission to Land. I think that was an album we had on heavy rotation back in the day. They had One Way Ticket to Hell and Back, which I think was an underrated album. Actually, that second album was pretty good, but they did have a bit of a hiatus, and now they're actually into their 6th album post getting back together. So
right.
This album here, it's 10 tracks, 33 minutes. I think it's in my sweet spot. I think in terms of what I was expecting for this is probably not a Permission to Land style of album. Probably one that was more like Last of Our Kind. So that was back in 2015, as I can recall. It's probably the benchmark for Darkness albums. But I must admit, I had some moderate expectations, but having the chance to look at the Justin Hawkins podcast, I can see he's a very deep thinker, and I was wondering whether a lot of that was going to glean off what we were going to hear on this particular album.
It's interesting you say that, mate, because in terms of my expectations leading up to this album, I didn't hold out too much hope. I really kind of thought the darkness had faded off quite a few years ago, but to my surprise, mate, this is a real cracking album. If we're going to kind of give it a bit of a analysis, it's one of the funniest albums I've heard for a long time. The lyrics are actually really funny, aren't they? I mean, you've got songs like Mortal Dead, which has a real AC/DC kind of vibes to it. The lyrics through Walking Through the Fire, mate, that is brilliant. Where he says, I'm going to quote here, mate, "We're only doing this because it's fun. Don't even think my mum bought the last one." I mean, that is absolute gold. Good. But my favourite track is Rock and Roll Party Cowboy, mate. My only wish for this particular song was that it would feature David Brent from his heyday from The Office, because it's just lyrics, just kind of mix match out there. You know, he's talking about yacht rock, cot rock, whatever it is. It's just words, but it kind of works. And for me, where this album kind of sits is, you might listen to it one or two times, but if you hear a few of these tracks, say, after a few drinks out on the town, you'll be up and you will be banging to this album, mate. You're a massive Darkness fan, so you might be looking at this from a different lens.
No, not at all. Like, I mean, it's funny you mentioned David Brent and Ricky Gervais. Like, I thought the line is, I don't need a woman to act like a man. I thought that was classic Gervais type of a wordplay, if you want to call it that. But I mean, the interesting thing for me is it had a number of different influences. If you listen to the very last album, it was much more of a rocking metal album. There was a homage to all these metal bands. This time you do get little bits of that, but you're getting all sorts of different influences. So yeah, the AC/DC metal you're hearing. I'm also hearing a bit of Weezer, right? Like, so Ballad of Gadget Man. It sounds like Rivers Cuomo in a way, just in the way he sung it. And like, he could pull it off. He's got quite a bit of a range there. But I mean, it goes from everywhere from AC/DC, ELO, so there's a little bit of Mr. Blue Sky going on there with The Longest Kiss. There's country stylings. They also sound like themselves. Like Walking Through Fire, I love that song, but that's like a classic Darkness song. It's a great song. So I think there's a lot there for everyone, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I think that's what a lot of bands tend to do. I think that they have gotten into a rhythm with their particular songs now, that it's not as hooky as it used to be, let's be honest. But I think a lot of bands can't sustain the types of songs they write in their heyday. So I think that's probably one thing. But overall, I found it really enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, I've got something further to say about that. You mentioned it's not as hooky as their previous stuff. I reckon after a couple of listens, I'm kind of sold. I was really skeptical. I mean, the song like "Hot on My Tail." Who actually comes out and writes about a song about desperately needing to burn one out in the toilet? I mean, that is just absolute gold. But it works. I mean, the song "I Hate Myself" for some reason. This one take film clip, which Justin
Did you like that? Did you like the film clip?
Oh, I did. He absolutely nails it. But it's pretty bloody catchy. I mean, it's a pretty depressive song, but it's also, you kind of finish listening to it and you feel quite optimistic about the world.
Yeah, I think overall, like, I'm thinking it is probably a 4-star effort. I'm almost sort of trying to push it up to 4 stars. I'd be interested to know if that's going to rate so highly. I think, as I said, I think, yes, it is very hooky, but I think if you compare it back to the Permission to Land days, it's probably going to come off always second best. But I think this is an interesting period for The Darkness in that I feel as if the band are exploring different genres here, and maybe this is, again, it might be because of the podcast, but I'll be interested to see which direction they take from here. Is if they really start to explore different types of territories, and is instead of the rock territory that they've gone out and made a name for themselves at. So what would you say?
Yeah, that's well said, mate. I think they're winning the battle of not giving a fuck, really, to be honest.
Yeah,
I just think they're at a stage of their kind of career where they can just write lyrics about funny things that are happening in their lives or whatever they want to write about. But it is working. It's a pretty cohesive album, and it's hard to give it a rating, really, if you're going to compare it against previous albums or albums that are out there at the moment. So I'm sitting around the 3.5. It's a good listen, mate. I'm probably not going to listen to it too many more times, but I don't know. I had fun with this.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think? Did you think this album rates very in a comparative way to the original albums? I tend to think that it probably doesn't, but that doesn't necessarily matter. I thought it was a fun record to listen to. Let us know your comments. Let us know what you think.